What's up, y'all? If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Tierica, and I like to post videos about the law of assumption, manifestation, and mindset shifting, sharing my own personal beliefs and experiences with the intention that you can take something from what I talk about and apply it to your life to create the reality of your dreams. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. So, as promised, this video is going to be going over the human design chart. So, if you have not watched my first video on the introduction to human design, I highly recommend that you stop this video and go check that one out first, especially if you've never heard of human design before, you don't know what it is. Human design is basically a tool, in my opinion, just like astrology can be a tool, human design can be a tool, and it basically shows you how you move as an individual person, how you move, what is the best ways for you to do things in life, how you may have been conditioned by society and how you can decondition those things, and how you can move to where you fulfill your life, like your life's purpose and everything, so easily and effortlessly. Like personally, I have learned a lot about myself since I've learned about human design, and a lot of things that I was doing that was burning me out made sense because of my human design type, and things just clicked for me, and I've been using it to assist me and guide me, just as a tool through life. So I highly recommend that you go to that first video and listen to it first before you check this one out. If you don't have your human design chart, I will leave a link for you below in the description, because I want you to pause this video and get that first, so that way you can see your chart as I go along. So you can see your chart and you can follow along as I go through the different aspects of the chart, and explain it to you. With human design, it is so intricate, it is so detailed, and it's like it's so detailed, y'all. So I'm going to basically generally go over these things for you, but I will leave all the resources that you need below, so that way you are able to study your own chart and learn more things about yourself, and hopefully these things enlighten you. If you ever have questions about anything, you're more than welcome to leave a question in the comments, and I will help you to the best of my ability, because I am also still learning and studying human design as well. But I feel like this information is very important for you to know, because it can definitely assist you while you are manifesting. First things first, whenever you put your information in and you get your chart, you're gonna see what type you are, and you're gonna be able to tell, whenever you look at your type, it's going to say you are a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, a manifestor, or a reflector. So each of those different types are a different energy type. They all have a different aura type, and that's basically the category that you fall under, as far as your human design. Now, it does not stop there, because it gets way more detailed and way more broken down, and it's really not a one size fits all. Like, this is very designed to you and your uniqueness. So y'all, it's a lot of aspects to this, okay? So the next thing that you will find on your chart is your strategy. Each of the design types have a strategy that is unique to them. I'm a projector, and my strategy is to wait for the invitation. That is the strategy for all projectors. And the strategy is really one of the most important parts, because it's gonna explain to you what is your best way to move through life, and it makes sense. Especially like being a projector, waiting for the invitation means I'm not the best at going to people and going to things and make like a salesperson. I would not be a good salesperson, because I'm going to sell to people versus people coming to me because they want to buy something from me. That is waiting on the invitation. Now, again, because I do talk about manifestation on this channel, this is in no way to limit you in any way, but this can bring awareness to what your natural nature may be, and what your natural design may be, and then that way you can make changes or adjustments so it can fit you better. But for me, I like the waiting for the invitation, because I don't like going to people and selling stuff and doing stuff. I like for people to invite me and to come to me. Like, it just easier for me. And now when I learned about a projector, it made sense. So I do want to read each of the design types strategies. If you're a generator, then it's meant for you to respond. If you're a manifester, then it's meant for you to inform. Of course, if you're a manifesting generator, then it's meant for you to respond and then inform. If you are a reflector, then it is to wait for a lunar cycle. Now, of course, I don't know what each of those means specifically, but that is your opportunity to go ahead and research and see what that means for you, and see if it aligns with how you already naturally move. Okay, next we have the not self theme. And what the not self theme is when you are not living your design. when you are not living by your true nature, this is basically how you will be feeling. So, if you are a generator, you will experience frustration. If you are a manifester, you will experience anger. If you are a manifesting generator, then you will experience frustration plus anger, which equals impatience. And if you are a projector, you will experience bitterness. And if you are a reflector, you will experience disappointment. I'm going to use me as an example. I'm a projector, so not living my design is bitterness. So by me doing lashes every day, and I just no longer like to do it, I no longer enjoy it, I don't feel fulfilled, but I thoroughly enjoy helping people. So when my clients are talking to me and they need advice, I love doing that part, but it's the whole act of having to sit and do the lashes that I do not like, and it makes me so bitter. Like, I get so bitter about it. And when I learned about the not self theme, I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense for why I be feeling like this. And it's because I'm not living in my theme. Now, once I started my YouTube channel and I started making my videos, I feel, and my friend that put me on to human design, I would text him like, I love making these videos. I absolutely love doing this YouTube channel. I had tried it last year and then I stopped and then I started back, and I've just been on a whirlwind since then. And he told me, he does astrology too, so he was telling me how all the planets were aligned, when I messaged him about it, and he was like, well, that's, this is probably the reason why you're feeling it now, but you're also living out your design. Because as a projector, projectors are meant to guide humanity. We have like this connection to the spiritual realm. We're almost like a bridge where we bridge humanity to the spiritual world, and we can see beyond the realms and the dimensions that most people can perceive. That's probably why I be having all these random wild thoughts, y'all, because my perception just can go out so far. And that's not to say that if you are a generator or a manifestor or any of the other types that you don't have that same ability, but I do see how I can perceive things that are pretty far off and probably wild to people. That's why I like sharing them on YouTube, because usually y'all are looking for this kind of information. I don't just go telling this to my friends and people around me because they're not ready for it. If you're ready for the information that I have to share, you will find me on YouTube. That's all I got to say. But whenever I told him all of this, he was like, well, you're living your design. Like, projectors are meant to guide, and that's literally what you're doing with your YouTube channel. So that's why I feel so refreshed and energized, and y'all see me on here being consistent all the time. Like, I used to identify as a person who struggled with consistency. Like, I couldn't be consistent to save my life with stuff. Like, I would try and it didn't work, and I see why it didn't work, because it was not aligned with my true nature. It wasn't aligned with what I desire. I desire to help people at the deepest level. I desire to guide people, and I desire for people to live a better life. I've always wanted to just help people live a better life in whatever way that looked right for me. But this right now is the ultimate. Like, I can only see myself evolving from here. I don't see myself ever quitting or stopping, and that's why it's so easy for me to be consistent. It's so easy for me to show up daily, because it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. So if you are experiencing one of these emotions from your not self theme, it is because you are not living in your design. You are not living your true purpose. You are not living in your true nature. And it is up to you to look at your design, see what are the pathways that are most easily accessible for you, and see what resonates and go along with that. And I really feel like once I'm very knowledgeable on it, I feel like I will end up being able to do like human design readings for you all, so that way we can use manifestation and how you naturally are right now and combine the two, so that way you move through life as this powerful being that has no conditioning. Okay, because I was about to go on a whole nother tangent, but has no conditioning, because what I've realized is we've all been conditioned, and to let go of these conditions, human design helps you to remove the conditionings that we have been taught and that we've been stuck in for so long. So I really see myself doing that in the future. And I know this video is going to be long, y'all, but I think y'all are going to enjoy it. Okay, so then the next thing that you're gonna see is your authority type. And what this is your authority type is basically how you make decisions. And I'm gonna read those to you too and just briefly kind of explain them because you're gonna see that in your chart as well. This is not tied to your actual human design type. So just like how I just said, generators, this is exactly how you're going to feel and this is what you're going to experience. The authority is not tied to your type. Any different human design type can experience these different authorities, but you only have one. So whatever yours is, it's unique to you. It's not unique to your design type. Okay, hopefully that made sense. But if you have a sacral authority, then you are supposed to listen for your internal yes or no. And you're going to know exactly what that means, because if you have a sacral authority and you hear me say this, then it should give you an aha moment of, okay, that makes sense for why this yes or this no, like it should make sense to you. If you have an emotional solar plexus authority, then you make decisions based off of your feelings. And that is the best way for you to make decisions, based off of your feelings. If you are a splenic authority, which that is what mine is, it's intuition. And again, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm probably gonna have to make like a whole nother channel for projectors and manifestation, because it makes sense why I'm just gonna give y'all this sidebar real quick. I promise I'm not gonna do this the whole video, y'all, but just a sidebar real quick. Splenic authority. Let me tell y'all, every time I meet people out, I instantly can be like, yeah, I want them in my life, or no, I don't care to even entertain them. And it's so quick, it's so fast, and I've never been able to put my words to it, because I just explain to my friends, it's like I just meet people and I just know if I want to deal with them or not. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just a yes or no, and it's an instant thing for me. It's just something I instantly feel. Splenic. If you are a splenic authority, your intuition is never going to lie to you. That is the best way for you to make decisions. And I really believe that whatever your authority type is, as long as you learn to lean into that, I really feel like life can get easier for you, okay? If you have an ego or heart authority, then you make decisions based off of willpower. If yours is self identity, G authority, then knowing who you are is what will make you happy. If you have an environment authority, then asking your network and waiting to see is the best way for you to make decisions. And moon or lunar authority is waiting for a lunar cycle to decide. Now, again, this is not to limit you, because if you do not identify with your authority and you identify with a different one, then go ahead and accept that one. Just because it's there, this is a tool, right? This is a blueprint that is connected to you based off of the time that you were born, where you were born, and all of that. So it is so unique to who you are. But if your specific whatever does not resonate with you and something else does, I believe that you still have the power to make any changes that you see fit for yourself. All right. So if you liked a different authority better and that resonates more, you've been actually doing that one more, then go ahead and roll with it. Okay. Next, you'll have your profile, and it's going to be 2 different numbers with a slash in between. I'm not going to go through these because that can get super detailed, but just take your profile and look it up. So for instance, I said I was a 2-4 profile, so it's a hermetic opportunist. Both lines have a different meaning to them. One is what you show people, one is what's within. So I highly recommend that you just take your number, whatever it is, and go look it up and see if it resonates with you. Okay, y'all, so next I'm gonna have my chart on the screen for this one. This one is super detailed. I will not be able to go through all of it, but I just want to explain to you what it means, all right? So next, what we're gonna talk about is the gates. So the gates are the little circles that you see inside of all of the defined centers, all right? There are so many different circles and they all have different numbers inside of them. The circles that are filled in, or the circles that are connected to a filled in line. And I'm gonna see if I can put like an arrow or something over what I'm talking about. But again, the filled in circles or the circles that are connected to filled in lines, those are the ones that you want to pay attention to, because those are the ones that are gonna be unique to you. Each gate has a different meaning to it. It has a different energy to it. So what you're going to want to do is, if you have a gate that's filled in, look at the number and go type that number in online. I will do my best to find like a resource for you all and put it in the description below, where you can just go type in the gate and it'll pull up a description for you, so that way it can explain it to you, because I like things to be easy. I don't, even when I'm doing my research, I want the easiest way possible for everything. I don't want to have to go search and dig. So I will find something for y'all and put it below where you can just type it in and see what each one means. But more so specifically, I would say when you have space in your day, just take a sit down and go through all of the ones that are highlighted on your chart and go look those up and see what they mean, see if they resonate, and take the information and apply it to your life as you see fit. Okay, so after you look at your gate, the next thing that you can look at are your channels. And your channels are the lines that you see that are filled in. Some of the lines that you see within your chart have no definition to them. You don't have to worry about those, because that is basically an undefined center for you. So you are more so open in that area, and you usually are more easily influenced in that area. But for the centers that are defined, the channels that are defined, they're usually connected to your gate. Okay, so you'll see your gate filled in, and then the channel is usually defined. Whether the entire channel is defined, where it's from one gate to another gate, or if that one specific gate is defined. So your channel, if it's halfway filled in, then it's only connected to that specific gate. But if it's filled in all the way through, then it has a very strong, unique property to itself. But each channel also holds its own unique properties as well, its own uniqueness to you. So again, just like your gates that you looked up, you're going to want to look up your channels as well. And I will be sure to put a link below so you can look up your channels. And that's why I was like, I can't go through all of this like in super detail, y'all, because it's so many aspects and it's so many pieces to it. But it's not something I feel like you have to learn all at once and you have to do it all at one time. Take your time, learn about different parts of yourself, and just make it a little process for you. Don't try to overwhelm yourself and do it overnight. Like, take it easy, dedicate to maybe looking up a couple of things a day or whatever fits best in your schedule, because this is super complex and it's super intricate. But I do believe that it is extremely helpful for you, or else I wouldn't be sharing it with you. I do want to say that if you see in your chart that you have two different gates and the channel is defined completely all the way through, that is a very, very strong point that you have. So if you start anywhere, I would definitely recommend starting with any of the channels that are connected to two gates. Look at both of those gates, what they mean, and then look at what the channel means and see how that corresponds to who you are, see how it relates to who you are, and see if it resonates. Okay, so next on your chart, you will see your gates are inside of another little box. That is your energy center. So either your energy centers are going to be defined where they're filled in, or they're going to be undefined and they're not going to be filled in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what each of the centers are on your chart and what it's connected to. I will put an arrow to each one as I'm explaining it, and then we'll go a little bit further into detail. So you have your head center, which is connected to inspiration, anxiety, and mental pressure. You have the ajna, which is connected to conceptualization. You have your throat, which is connected to communication, manifestation, and action. Your heart, which is your ego and willpower. Your sacral, which is sexuality and life. Your G center, which is self, direction, and love. Your splenic, which is intuition, instinct, fear, and immune system. Your solar plexus, which is emotions, feelings, and nervousness. And then your root, which is life fuel, pressure, and stress. And then to explain, if you have your centers defined, that means you are very strong in that center and you basically make your own rules and you move by your own characteristics, you move by your own beat with all of the ones that are defined, okay? So looking on your chart, you'll see, if you look at mine, I only have two defined. My splenic and my root are the only two that's defined. But if looking at your own personal chart, you will have different centers that are defined, and those are the ones that you stand the strongest in. Now, the centers that are not defined, those are where you are more susceptible to conditioning and you are more open, so you are more easily influenced when it comes to these other centers that are open. And I think the biggest thing about having the centers open is you have to basically be aware to not take on conditioning and to take on other people's beliefs in those centers and what they're connected to, because you're not very strong in them. But learning how to not take on other people's beliefs as true for yourself. It'll be easier for you to do that because there's no definition there. But now that you're aware of it and it may become, it may make sense to you, then you kind of know how to move. So like, I know for me personally, my throat is not defined, and it makes sense to me for why when I'm in large group settings of people, I tend to just be quiet. I don't really like to talk a lot. I don't like to voice my opinion a lot. I'm just very quiet. But I also have, if you go to like my natal chart, I have Aquarius as my sun sign, and that's also very enclosed. But then I have a 2-4 profile, which is hermetic, and that's also very introverted. So I have a lot of introverted properties to me, which can make it to where I don't like to speak around large groups of people. Even with the head center being open, so now I'm not grounded in the head center, so I can think further and expand further, and I'm not going to be just mentally in my head all the time. Like, that's kind of some of the things that I've learned as I've studied different centers and with them being open or with them being defined or undefined. So of course I had to study because I only have 2 that's defined, and I'm sure there's some of you that only have 1, and if you're a reflector, you have none defined. Like, none of them are defined. So to bring it all into correlation, if you have if the centers that are undefined, I do want you to make it a point to look at those centers and to understand what they mean, because that is where you are usually the most influenced by things around you. And what happens is when you are influenced by the things around you based off of these centers that are open, you tend to not live by your design. You tend to be easily influenced. And then what happens is you are living your not self theme, and that's where you experience the frustration or the bitterness or whatever your not self theme was that was connected to your human design type. So honestly, the gates and the channels are first that I would definitely want you to look into, and then your undefined centers I would want you to look into, so that way you are aware of what you are more open to, and that way you can ground yourself in those areas yourself. Okay, and then the last thing that I want to cover in this video for you all is, if you see on your chart, you have those arrows at the top that are pointing in different ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what each of those arrows mean and what it means for the direction that it's pointing for you, all right? I am going to read it off, and I will put a link to this information in the resources below. But so let's just go ahead and start with the top arrow on the top left. That one is for digestion, okay? And that includes food as well as how you digest information. So if your arrow is pointing to the right, you have active digestive and you enjoy routine, which means you enjoy being in a routine with like eating and stuff. And if your arrow is pointing left, then your passive digestion, you take life as it comes and you should eat intuitively. And that can mean something different to everybody. So see how that fits for your life, see how that works out. Intuitive eating would not be so, I'm eating this because somebody said to. No, you eat something because you feel like it's good for you, or you feel like it's healthy for you. The next arrow that I'm going to cover is the bottom left one. And that one is about your environment. Okay, so what kind of environment suits you best? If your arrow is pointing to the right, then new experiences serve you. And if your arrow is pointing to the left, then consistent steadiness serves you better. Moving along to the top right, this arrow is connected to awareness, and it is how you view the world. So if your arrow is pointing to the right, then you are right-brained creativity. And if your arrow is pointing to the left, then you are left-brained logic. So if you are more of a logical thinker, then that probably makes sense if you have a left arrow. As you can see, my arrow is pointing to the right, and I am always saying that I am not a logical person. I will say some of the most illogical things to you, and I do not consider myself a realist. I'm very optimistic, so it makes sense for me. It definitely aligns and it definitely matches up. The last arrow is the bottom right, and that is your perspective, and it is your manifesting power type. I did cover this one a little bit in the last video, but basically, if your arrow is pointing to the right, then you are a general manifester. You are a non-specific manifester. So you do not have to be specific about the things that you want to manifest. You can manifest from the general idea or the general feelings of things. And then if your arrow is pointing to the left, you are more so of a specific manifester, okay? You should find the exact things that you want, the exact details, and just be specific about it. Again, not to limit you, because if you feel like being too specific is triggering for you or it's too much, then don't do it. But it's just a way to see how you move better. Even if you are a specific manifester and you don't want to be super specific with your affirmations, you can write down your specific manifestations and then use your umbrella or your blanket affirmation. And of course, vice versa. If you are a non-specific but you want to be specific, it's totally fine. This is just telling you how you move and what may come easier for you, or what may be more natural to you. So that's all that I want to cover in this video, y'all. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. What I'm going to do is I am going to make a playlist coming up, and I'm going to have a playlist for each individual design type. So I'll have one for generators, for manifesting generators, projectors, reflectors, and manifestors. I'm going to have a playlist for y'all, and videos that I come across that have good information, I'm gonna put them in there. So just make sure periodically, especially after this week, like give me a little chance to get the playlist together. But after this week, go ahead and look for it and just look through the videos, because I do want y'all to study your design type, and I really feel like it could be very, very beneficial for you. You can learn things about yourself and you can apply it to the law of assumption and manifestation and really just become this like superhuman, like, you know, just step into your full power, your full nature. It definitely helps you to understand things about yourself. It helps to bring things to the light. Like, y'all, I've sat down and watched videos for projectors and I have cried, because the things that they point out and the things that they say resonate so much with me, and it makes so much sense for why life has been the way that it's been for me, or why I do certain things. It all just comes together so nicely. So I do encourage you all to do your own research. Of course, check the description for the resources and the materials that you need for this, that you need following this video. And yeah, again, if you have any questions or comments related to anything in general or related to human design in specific, please leave them down for me below. If you would like assistance or guidance pertaining to your manifestations, I do offer email and phone coaching, and I have a description for that in the link below as well. If you watch this video until the end, I appreciate you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video.